What's up, you guys? Bryan here with another episode of The Adventures of an Entrepreneur. Cool thing is you are going to learn the secrets, successes, and challenges of people that were working for someone. Maybe they started their own business. Maybe they've been an entrepreneur all their life. But you're going to hear all about stories from different people that have taken the leap to go into business for themselves. And I'm super pumped to have Matt from Higher Power here. You guys, get ready, you guys. You guys are going to hear this story. You're going to hear some really cool success and challenges that Matt has gone through to really build his firm. He owns one of the best contracting electrical firms in the area. And what he's done and how he scaled, get ready, you guys. It's going to be amazing. More importantly, please make sure you guys like the channel and subscribe. It's always good to get like all kinds of feedback and content and get those followers, right? It's pretty cool. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bryan. Thanks for having me. I appreciate your time.
Awesome. You know what, Matt? I am super pumped. I said super pumped already twice. I may say it 3 or 4 more times. I'm telling you right now. Matt, real quick, we were just talking a little bit. So what kind of coffee do you like?
I love Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Dunkin' Donuts. Why Dunkin' Donuts? I mean, you got Starbucks, you got Duck Donut, you got all kinds of coffee. Why Dunkin'?
I don't like coffee. Dunkin' Donuts is sort of a medium roast, and it goes down smooth, I think, for me. It's just a very good taste to it.
Awesome. And you've been drinking Dunkin' Donuts for how long?
From day one, when I started drinking coffee. I think my parents and stuff were Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, there's Dunkin' Donuts all over Philadelphia, so that's kind of our spot. I don't remember seeing a Starbucks when I was growing up, so Dunkin' Donuts was like...
That was the go-to. Yeah. It was Dunkin'. So you've been drinking coffee for many, many years.
Yes.
And this is not even about what the show's about. It's not even about coffee, but I'm just like so amped because I just tried, I'm going to say it wrong, but Nespresso. Yes. I think it's called espresso, Nespresso. I don't even know how to say it. It's whatever it is. It's all good. Matt, tell us a little bit about you. Like, where were you born? Where were you raised?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, Northeast. I went to Father Judge High School. I went on to college at Holy Family University. And, you know, from my background, I was sort of my upbringing was sort of crazy. I grew up in a sort of a rough neighborhood, kind of crazy circumstances, a lot of drugs and alcohol in my environment, and we had a lot of leeway as kids growing up. It was sort of got into a lot of mischief, running around with my friends growing up, and kind of got into
stuff you probably shouldn't have
got into, but that was sort of my background is growing up as kind of a crazy sort of wild Philly kid,
What did your parents do?
My mom worked she was more of a hospital type of administrator. My dad was more of a sales, like a route salesman. He worked for a couple of different companies like Pepsi and a couple of different
distributors,
stuff like that.
Actually, so it's interesting because right when you said born in Philly, you said West Philly, right?
Northeast
Philly. What's crazy is I thought you were going to sing the theme song for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Born and raised in, I was like, oh my gosh, she's about to go into it. Like, this is going to be crazy. Right. So how does someone from Philly come down to DC? Like, how you get to Northern Virginia?
Right. So growing up in Philly, a lot in my neighborhood, a lot of folks went in the trades. Everyone was either, in the union or a fireman, cop. Not many people went to college, so that was kind of what I wanted to do. I took the college route.
That's great.
And from there, I kind of stumbled, once I got my degree, I kind of stumbled upon a couple temp jobs in the healthcare industry, and I got hired at a pharmaceutical company, AstraZeneca.
Okay.
And
big company.
Yeah, worked there for 4 or 5 years, a couple of different capacities, one of which was a pharmaceutical, which relocated me down to Bethesda, Maryland. Did that for a couple years and wasn't totally in love with it, got married during that time, and kind of went through a job change. So I decided to join electrical apprenticeship and go through the electrical apprenticeship schooling for 4 years and, until I get my license as a journeyman.
So help me out. So you're working for a massive Fortune 500, Fortune 100.
Fortune 500, one of the top 5 pharmaceutical companies in the world, actually.
In the world?
Yep.
You're a pharmaceutical, you're in sales in that role, or what were you doing at?
No, totally. No, I was pharmaceutical sales. I had a company car. I was making bank, 401k.
So you had the life. Like
living in a
high-rise,
single, living in a high-rise in Bethesda, not a care in the world.
Oh, you were doing your thing.
Yeah, I was living it. I had a 4-unit rental property in Philadelphia.
What?
Renting out. I was making
investments.
Yeah, and I know that. Yeah, exactly. So and you know, I got married, and I just kind of really wasn't happy. I was just wasn't really mature. I think my wife kind of, you know, early on in marriage, you know, I think kind of I had a lot of maturity to do, you know, maturity to do. So that was sort of part of it, to be honest. And my experiences were like, you know what, this is not what I want to do. You know, I'm not a corporate guy. I want to do something. And taking a couple steps back into apprenticeship sound crazy to a lot of people, but for me, I was like, it's kind of what I wanted to do.
So this is my question. So how does someone say, okay, I'm going to give all that up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my own thing, which is awesome. And that's what this whole show is about, is how do people take the leap if they're working for someone else? How does someone take that leap and say, I'm ready to make this change? 2 questions on that. 1, how'd you know it was then to make that change? And 2, how'd you like at that point? And then 2, you could have picked anything to do. You could have gone and you could have whatever, 27 Dunkin' Donut franchise. Like, you could have done whatever you wanted. What made you go into the electrical business? And more importantly, how did you know it was the right time? It could have been 6 months before. It could have been 6 months after. What was the trigger that made you say, okay, I'm going to leave at this point?
I think it was more so, like, I don't know. I at that time in my life, if I recall correctly, I just had like a feeling like, sure, I can probably go to another big company in like a sales and marketing department and get a job, and then I thought to myself, you know, what would that look like in a couple years and a couple years after that? And it's like, and I kind of looked at that picture and I said to myself, like, you know, I kind of really want something that I can, you know, take with me and kind of own. You know, I can't really, you know, for me, it just didn't really fit. So I knew I wanted to go to, like, because for me, the trades is something that, like, you know, you put the work in, you can see the result.
For sure.
And I kind of was after that. At first, I wasn't just like, oh, I want to go, you know, I was like, all right, I want to do this. And then it took me, you know, through my apprenticeship, working on a government base, a government contractor, and, you know, working in a data center and working for a residential. I worked for a couple of different electrical firms. And then I really realized, like, okay, now, you know, this is definitely not, like, I definitely want to work for myself now and go out on my own. So it was sort of a long process of figuring out, you know, it definitely wasn't day one. You know, I had to, you know, you have to learn those lessons over time. So
had to learn the lessons over time. So there were challenges.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
There were challenges. Are there challenges today?
Challenges today in regards to owning a business. The biggest challenge now, you know, I've been in business now for about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half. I think the biggest challenge for me is not the actual electrical work. Electrical work is great. I love doing that. It's the easiest thing I do every day. It's all the back end stuff, emails, quotes, materials.
Running the business.
Just running the business, and it takes so much time that people really don't realize. Even with having a full-time admin, fielding all the calls, emails, texts, I'm still on the job site looking at my phone for hours a day, answering his questions, technical questions, etc. That's the biggest challenge. It's manageable, but it's definitely a challenge.
And so as you get to the level, you've been in business 18 months, a little over. How big has the company grown? Do you have more than one truck?
We have 2 trucks.
How many employees?
Right now we have, 4 employees.
18 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have definitely taken the business to a whole... Where's the business come from? Is it from ads? Is it from referrals? Is it from like
from how I do it is just what I'm learning is that it doesn't come from one place. Like I'm seeing now it comes from sort of networking. Obviously, you know, networking groups. I do some online ads, you know, website, Google ads. I have my hand in a lot of little things, and over time, you kind of reap the benefits of.
Well, it's interesting, Matt, that you say that, because I've had other guests on the show that whatever your business is, everyone needs to know about it. Whatever your business is, wherever you go, people need to know what you do. And every time I see you, I feel like you only have one shirt, because I always see you in the same shirt, which is higher power. But I know you got more shirts, but it's so awesome because no one is not going to know that you are all about higher power. Right. And it sparks a conversation like, what's higher power? And then all of a sudden you're like, I own my own electrical company. Like, electrician company, which is freaking awesome. And it's interesting because are you even with the challenge of just trying to manage the business? Because I think sometimes we as entrepreneurs, we get in the business because we're really good at what we do, or we like certain aspects of the business, but then we realize we got to run the business. Like there's still the operations of the business as you scale business. It's not like, okay, I'm just going to be a plumber and be a great plumber, or I'm going to be a great electrician and be just a great electrician.
Right.
And I want to grow the company.
Yeah, and I think the trades specifically, I think, because what I learned from a lot of my customers is that they have a good contractor, plumber, electrician, HVAC guy, but they don't get back to them. Like they just disappeared.
And why is that, do you think?
Because I think they just get so overwhelmed. Because, a good plumber, for instance, or just as an example, like once you hit a certain, like once you work for a couple of years, like you exponentially get a customer base. And then it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And you get to a point where you're only one person. Like you can't
serve everyone.
Right. And there's such a demand out there for trades, electricians, plumbers, HVAC. So like you get to a point where you can't respond. And if you don't have the business side acumen as like, keeping up with text, emails, technology, you're gonna just plateau.
So you need to have built-in systems.
You got to have built-in systems.
So as you grow the business, you've grown very, very fast. You've had some serious success. It's not just about doing the work that you're really good at and that you love, but you have to build in systems and build the foundation, build the principles and the processes to be able to capture those opportunities. But also, it also comes down to the type of customer service you want to give.
Right.
And being able to be responsive and do everything counterculture from what the typical contractor looks like, which is they're so busy, they don't think enough of me to call me back when I have a need as a consumer. And so you're like, no, I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to build some systems. I'm going to have some capture, and then I'm going to have some processes in place that allow me to go ahead and really funnel and serve the client from start to finish so they're satisfied. Exactly. And that's why I think it's so impressive, Matt. Like you've done this in 18 months.
Oh no, totally. Like it came so natural to me. And I think when I look at my past, I got a college degree. I'm still paying off those loans. Didn't really work out for me. But all the corporate experience and all the experiences I had kind of gave me the skills to kind of manage all that stuff.
I love it. So your past experiences and your past work experience really has educated you that you've leveraged to be able to fuel to run the business today.
Yeah, I got like 10,000 hours of staring at spreadsheets prior to joining the trade. So like I know, all that stuff.
You know what's funny? I'm terrible at Excel. Like I know how to do like a simple formula, like equal, sum, and then the parenthesis.
Right.
But like outside of that, I can't. Someone said build a table. I want to know how to build a table. I literally would go get pieces of wood and some like screws and like start building a table, and they'd be like, no. In Excel, you got to build a table.
Right.
And I'd be like, I don't know how to do that. I have no idea how to do that. So I may have to leverage you when I need some help. I can read a financial spreadsheet. Yeah. I can read financials and spreadsheets, but I just don't know how to build them. So hats off to you because you got 10,000 hours. I got probably 3. Like I do not know how to do that, which is crazy. So what do you do for fun? What's fun for you?
Fun, right now it's the simple things, Bryan, in life. Kids, just spending time with the kids.
Oh, how old are the kids?
3. My Benjamin is 3 years old, and Amelia is 1. So
young kids.
Young kids, very exciting time. Very grateful for them and the wife, who is great too, because she has to put up with my crazy work schedule and all that stuff too. So kudos to her. And it's hard too, because raising kids is hard. I couldn't do that job.
I will tell you, I have twin girls that are 18. I'm blessed every day that Beth takes care of the girls. And for me, it's like, hey guys, what do you want to eat? Right. Hey guys, how's your day? They're both in college now. And it's like, it's awesome. But like raising kids, I think is the hardest job in the world. For sure.
100%.
If you were going to say, so when you say fun, hanging out with the kids, hanging out with the wife, like, do you guys travel? Do you guys hang around here? Do you guys take any trip?
We're pretty low key. We don't really do too much traveling right now. It's more like, day trips. We're active in our church. Every other Sunday I do the lighting in my church for the service. And
so that's good. You do the lighting for the church?
Yeah, they have a pretty nice system there. for instance, when the service goes on, when the choir leaves the stage, I dim the lights and et cetera. Those type of things. It's nothing crazy.
I'll tell you right now, I would love
cool.
to do a ride along. Like I would follow you at church and just I'd want to see what that looked like.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's funny? I've been in real estate for over 21 years, and lighting is really big for me. Like when I walk a house, I see like some of the hospital lighting or very bright light. It's not as soothing. So like I talk with clients a lot about like warm lighting or how, and it's funny because do you ever feel like you have a preference of lighting for sure? You have a preference of fixtures and all that?
Yes, I love that stuff. I love lighting.
So you're
design.
in it. You're like.
I love lighting design. That's one of the funnest things I do.
So is your guys' theme song for Higher Power Blinded by the Light? Like I would think that would be totally cool. Like you'd have like that would be my theme song. Like it's funny, I pick a theme song every year. Right now have you ever heard of Metallica?
Yes.
So some people never heard of Metallica. It's kind of crazy. So Metallica has a song Nothing Else Matters.
Yes.
Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
So like right now I'm like in this like Nothing Else Matters, and it's like I'm playing out our team meetings, like I'm blaring it, like it's crazy. Right. And I'm not big like hair band. Metallica's cool, but like that song just resonates. If you had to say a song that resonates with your business, what would it be? Kind of throwing a little curveball.
Right, yeah, that's a good question. For me, I typically get in and out of moods with songs, and I usually find a song I like and like play it 100 times until I get sick of it. Right now I'm into Mumford & Sons, and I'm kind of rocking out to a couple of songs in Mumford & Sons at the moment. So
okay,
yeah,
awesome. 3 years from now, Matt, what does the business look like?
That's a great question, and right now I'm really looking at sticking with the residential and light commercial, and really getting a good foundation for that. Finding quality guys to build a great team.
That's great.
Right. It maybe have 4 trucks on the road by it. Nothing crazy, but I think just a solid team.
I mean, based on your growth, you'll definitely have 4 trucks.
Yep.
And the way you run your business and what I've heard and what I've seen and how you do you, it's amazing. And you'll definitely hit that goal for sure, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, in one of the groups I'm in, that's what they all say too. It's like, they're just like, a lot of them are just like shocked of my progress in such a short time. And what I could say for that is I think, what's the saying, like they don't really see all the work I put in behind the scenes. Like literally, like last week, for instance, I worked till 12 o'clock at midnight, like 3 days a week. Last night I worked till 4 a.m. in the morning, just by helping people out. Like I had this guy who's opening a dog wash place and needed to get done. We needed to wire these dog wash machines. So I was like, I'll stay, I'll help you out.
So you will grind.
Yeah, I don't stop working. Like I work constantly. I'm always working. And that's one thing. It's like I don't, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me. I can work 7 days. I can work every single day and just be like.
You could tell the passion just talking about power and electricity and lighting, which is really interesting because I love real estate, right? Like if I wasn't a realtor, I'd still be in real estate. I love real estate. I love looking at houses. I love thinking about houses. I love serving people. I love going above and beyond. And when you love something and you're passionate about it, it doesn't feel like work. And I think a lot of people talk about work-life balance, but the reality is if you love what you do, the work-life balance is balance. Like there's not really balance. It's
That's true.
Your love of work is your life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And as long as you're giving equal time and investing in your family and your kids and your wife, and you can do, like I say go out, like go for it. And I think, it's funny you brought that up because I think a lot of people, due to your success in a relatively short amount of time, you look at athletes and people are like, oh my gosh, this athlete's such a superstar, or a Michael Phelps winning all those gold medals. They don't see all the work before. They don't see all the prep and all the practice and all the time and all the skill it takes. And so you've demonstrated that hard work will pay off. Hard work will go ahead and put you on the path where you want to be. And you're still striving for success. You're not happy. You're like, I want to keep growing. I want to keep serving. I want to keep doing whatever I can. And that I think is super powerful. Who's your ideal client? If you're gonna be like, Bryan, my ideal client is, who would it be?
Well, that's an exciting part about the trades too, and what I do is because you don't ever know when your next big client's going to come from, where they're going to come from. It could come from a simple conversation. I just got this coffee at Duck Donuts.
Yeah.
It could have been a guy I talked to there who knows a guy who lives in Great Falls who needs his mansion renovated. It could be anything like that, and it comes from everywhere, anywhere. So one of the things for me is that how I look at situations and my customers feel that I care about them. I go the extra mile, you know. If I see a bag of trash when I'm heading out that door, let me take this out.
Great.
You know, like simple things like that. It gets a little crazy sometimes when people are like calling me like screwing light bulbs and stuff. I got to kind of draw a line, but I go the extra mile anywhere I can, and customers really like appreciate that.
So there's not one segment of the market you're trying to serve. You'll serve anybody that needs electrical work.
Pretty much. I'm right now. I'm building a great foundation and a big customer base. My prices. A lot of people say, Matt, your prices are so low. Like you need to raise your prices, which I am. I'm working on that, and I do probably need to raise my prices. But right now, I look at it as okay. My prices are low, but guess what? You know, right now I rather have 100 customers love me than have 5 just say, okay, I'll hire Matt because,
I need the service.
Yeah. So like, I'm just, that's how I look at it right now because I can hustle, I'm young, and I'm only year 1, year 2 in. So like, I want everyone to know me. So yeah, I'll lower my prices and build that relationship first.
Which is cool. So that's a strategy. Yeah. I mean, that really is a strategy where like, I may take less money now, but I'm building something for the future. Yes. And so everyone, whether you are working, one business, you're working multiple businesses, whatever your business is, whatever your entrepreneurial spirit is, you have to have a strategy. And so Matt has built his business and scaled it and exponentially grown it by not being the cheapest, but lowering his prices enough to be able to build his database. That is very, very strategic on his part, which is so powerful. Matt, if you're going to say, and we're coming close to wrapping up, but if you're going to say something to people that want to start their own business, like they're working for Fortune 500, maybe they're working for someone else, or maybe whatever it is, like what would be advice for people to be like, I've been thinking about it, I'm just scared to take that next step, or I'm thinking about launching this, or I'm just scared to do it, or like I'm worried, or like I don't know what the future holds, or what advice would you give people?
What helped me the most is 100% get around other people who are doing the things that you want to do. Get around other small business owners, get around other people out there that are running their own business, running their side businesses, that are successful people. And that's the biggest, that's where you're going to get the biggest like wake up call. Like, okay, I got to step my game up. If they're doing it, I can see them doing it. They'll help me do it. They're great people. Like, people will help you. You have to get around people. You have to get around other people, other business owners, other entrepreneurs, and like that's the biggest thing you can do immediately.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think also you'll not only get energy from them and hearing how passionate about they are in their business, it will also give you the confidence to say, I'm ready to take that leap.
Right.
And worst case, you just go back and work for someone else. But the reality is, when you bet on yourself and you go all in, which is what you did, you went all in. Like, that should be one of your core values. You went all in. Right. Like, you're all in. And so I think when it comes down to it, and Matt, thank you for coming, is pay attention to where your passion is. If you're not happy, you have one life to live. And how are you living it? And you have shown a real life example of like someone saying, I'm not happy. I have all the I have money. I have this. I have the high rise. I have multi-unit rental. Like, I have all this, but I'm not happy. Right. And you're working a lot harder than you did when you were working Fortune 500 company, but you seem a lot more excited, a lot more passionate. Like, you're smiling. Like, you get dirty. You get like electrocuted. Like, I'm barely touching like changing light bulbs. Like that, I power down everything. I power my neighbor's house. I don't want anything to happen to me. Like, it's crazy. But Matt, thank you so much for coming on. And guys, make sure you all click like and subscribe to the podcast. We're excited. Can't wait for our next guest. But Matt, thank you for coming on. And how can people reach out to you? What would be the best way? Website, phone number? What's the best way?
GetHigherPower.com and go on my website. Google me. I'm based out of Arlington, and you can find me there. So
awesome, Matt. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.